Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Marco Nuyen and I'm a trainer at Microsoft. This video is part of a series of videos about the role of a Microsoft cybersecurity architect. For this video we will concentrate on two topics: the Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architectures, the MCRA, and Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, the MCSB. Discover how the well-architected framework, MCRA, and the MCSB can help you make smarter, more secure decisions in your cloud architecture journey. The areas of attention. So the content of this video is mostly aligned with the area of attention, security best practices and priorities, and that's from a certification perspective. And the main question, how to MCRA and how to MCSB? Can we do it? Yes, we can. But what are they and how can we leverage these resources as a cybersecurity architect? Do you want to use these? Absolutely. So let us get into it. First of all, what is the MCRA? A quick question. What is it? What do the letters MCRA stand for and what's its purpose? Is it a mini risk assessment, a tool to quickly evaluate the cyber risk of a system or project? Is it multi-cloud reference architecture, a framework to design and implement cloud solutions across different providers? Or is it C, Microsoft Cloud Security Baseline, a set of recommendations for Microsoft Cloud Security Services? Is it D, the Microsoft Critical Role Analysis, a method to identify and prioritize the most important roles of an organization? Well, let's go for B. Right? It's a multi-cloud reference architecture, a framework to design and implement a cloud solution across different providers. And the MCRA is a guide that helps cybersecurity architects to design and implement cloud solutions that are secure, resilient, scalable, and interoperable across different cloud service providers. It covers topics such as cloud governance, identity and access management, network security, data protection, monitoring, and incident response. Now the other topic for this video. What is it? The MCSB. Is it the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, a set of security controls for cloud services? Is it Microsoft Cloud Service Broker, a tool that enables seamless integration and management of multiple Microsoft Cloud services? Is it a Cloud Strategy Board, a committee that oversees the planning and execution of Microsoft Cloud's initiatives? Well, the answer is A. The MCSB is a library that defines the minimum security controls and best practices that should be implemented for any cloud service. It covers topics such as encryption, authentication, authorization, logging, auditing, and compliance. The MCSB is aligned with the Microsoft Cloud Adoption Framework, the Microsoft Well-Architected Framework, and Zero Trust. It helps to ensure a consistent level of security across different cloud environments. In this video, we will go into what the MCRA is and what the MCSB is, where to find them and how to apply them. We will first look at the MCRA and then at the MCSB. So first the MCRA. The Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architectures describes Microsoft's cybersecurity capabilities and technologies. The diagrams in the MCRA describe how Microsoft security capabilities integrate with Microsoft platforms and third-party platforms like Microsoft 365, Microsoft Azure, and third parties like ServiceNow, Salesforce, or platforms like Amazon Web Services, AWS, and Google Cloud Platform, GCP. First and third-party AI capabilities and more. Initially, the MCRA was initiated to bring everything together, to connect the dots, to be able to see the full picture. And security architecture is a vast area and it keeps expanding. And there are more and more products, technologies and services that need to be pictured in. You will see expansion, and the MCRA is now part of what we call the Security Adoption Framework, or SAF. For me, the MCRA has been an invaluable resource I use a lot. For understanding relationships, to borrow from, or to base my assessments on. I did a lot of gap analysis based on schematics from the MCRA. I started with one schematic, but over the years, many more have been added. Some directly usable, some less, but everything in the MCRA has had value for me so far. Zero Trust and the MCRA, my most appreciated toolboxes, in my toolbox. We will in this video go and have a look at where you can find the MCRA, and we'll share a couple of examples from it. Note that the title is Architectures, plural, not architecture, singular. So when it comes to capabilities and controls, the MCRA has got some best practices that it will help us with. We see them here on the graphic. It's all about learning what you have got available, things that are in the portfolio. And that will hopefully help to select the right thing that is available and using the right tool for the right job. And we need to make sure that's going to happen in a consistent pattern. Right? So all these elements are things that the MCRA will help you with. Being holistic, being prepared for ransomware and attacks, think about your incident response. So there's content in the MCRA that will help with that. When it comes to another example, attack protection. Attack protection, we need to protect against attacks, which means that we need to continuously improve what we currently have to better set up for the next thing that will, well, maybe hit us. And for that we need to use several kinds of toolings. And we need to evolve from just using a SIEM solution to more than that, to use not only SIEM but also to SOAR, automation, and start using more and more extended detection and response capabilities. So just a couple of examples from the MCRA. Now let's move to the MCSB. Where the MCRA has more references, the MCSB is more of a baseline. The Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark is the successor of the Azure Security Benchmark, which was rebranded somewhere end of 2022. The ASB was only for Azure. The MCSB is much broader than that. And the MCSB is based on guidance from external parties. The Center for Internet Security, CIS, the National Institute of Standards and Technologies, NIST, and the Payment Card Industry Standards, PCI DSS framework. The Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark includes a collection of high-impact security recommendations you can use to help secure your cloud services in a single or multi-cloud environment. MCSB recommendation includes two key aspects: security controls and service baselines. Security controls are generally applicable recommendations across your cloud workload. Each recommendation will, next to the recommendation, also identify a list of stakeholders that are typically involved in planning, approval, or implementation of the benchmark. It links back to roles and responsibilities within an organization. Service baselines apply the controls to individual cloud services to provide recommendations on that specific service's security configuration. The baselines start with Azure, but they are expanded to other cloud solutions. All of this is done in the MCSB through 12 control domains. In some of the other videos in the Cybersecurity Architect series, I will refer to these MCSB control elements very often. For every domain, there will be advisories, and usually they are in a range between 3 and 11 advisories. All of them relevant, but the lowest number should have the highest priority. Make sure you have coverage of the domains you are designing your architectures. And in any existing environment, we should start checking if the elements are present and people are accountable. And if not, we find ourselves an improvement point. And then, depending on the risk, urgency and cost, and many other aspects, we will start driving improvements. Now let's look at the MCSB control elements together. Cybersecurity capabilities and control. On this graphic, I've taken two MCSB control domains with their controls, and as you can see, for governance and strategy, there's 10 listed, but I think there's actually one more. We'll check that in a moment. And before we go and check, I want to point out the numbering. Everything listed is important, but one is higher on a priority list than a lower number. And life is all about priorities, and in this case, a lower number should give it something a higher priority. Another thing to note is that everything is connected. The MCSB control domains are integrated with the Cloud Adoption Framework and the Well-Architected Framework, and vice versa. If you take the Well-Architected Framework, that has a security pillar, and there you will find information on DevOps and DevOps security. Important aspects from the Well-Architected Framework is to ensure there's a threat model. We see that back in the MCSB controls also. I do hope you start seeing these connections between the different areas we cover in the videos, or that are part of the Cybersecurity Architect modules on Microsoft Learn. And to complete the list, yes, everything is conceptually grounded into zero trust. And the MCRA we discussed earlier in this video also has a lot of information on everything. But let's look at the MCSB quickly. Here we are at the main page on Microsoft Learn for the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, aka.ms MCSB. That is where you will find all general information and then the information per MCSB security control element. It will follow the pattern of the name for the domain and then a numbered control element. Consider it the baseline for cloud, and we will have advisories per topic, for example on identity networking, but also incident response. I guess you can say these controls are protective or reactive. We will see MCSB elements in other videos and other parts of this course. Let's look at one specific example, GS1. I've taken one of the control elements from GS and put it onto a slide. GS, what was that? Right? Governance and strategy, right? GS in short. Why did I select this one for this video? Well, because it's the one that will tell you to go and do all the other ones. It will start by ensuring that you define and communicate a clear strategy for roles and responsibilities in your security organization. Everyone needs to be involved, everyone needs to be informed, and everyone needs to be held accountable. The whole organization, the whole team. Security is a team sport. Now let's look at the other topic in this video, the MCRA. An example for the MCRA, first of all, you go to the page where you can find the MCRA, aka.ms MCRA. On the landing page, you can also find more information, and you also find earlier versions of the slide deck that makes up the Microsoft Cloud, the Microsoft Cybersecurity reference architectures. In many of my videos and in the online course materials, you will see the slides that were taken from the MCRA. There are a couple that I'd like to highlight in this video, and this is the first one. This is the one a lot of people, including myself, use for heat mapping. It covers a lot of elements that need to be present in an architecture of an operational environment. First check is, are we covered? Did we include that area? Next would be how and how do we integrate it? It helps to find gaps, blind spots, and areas for improvement. Download the MCRA and study the slide. And when you go through the MCRA, I'm pretty sure you'll find other elements that appeal to you too. One that I've heard a lot of appreciation for in many of my classroom deliveries is the next one I want to highlight. It's about zero trust. Zero trust security architecture. Security is not easy. It can be very complex and challenging, and we need to ensure everything is embraced and at some point, gets retired. Having full visibility and thinking about lifecycle management, LCM for short, is essential. But there's so much. Therefore, we need to focus on the most important and the easiest things to do first. Identify and prioritize. And to get started with that, a recurring theme in this video will be get started where, get started somewhere. Because when you start somewhere, you will uncover. And that will help drive your next decision. And that's what we see here also. We observe, we decide, and we act. Right? Another, there are rules and commandments, and we should adhere to these. These immutable laws of security have been around for decades, and they still hold true. In many courses I deliver, I will start with the laws of security, because that helps to shift into a cybersecurity mindset. And most of these are very logical and easy to remember, and they matured into the 10 laws of cybersecurity. On the graphic, you also see a mention of the Open Group. You will find a lot of information in the current MCRA about the efforts from the Open Group. Latest were additional definitions on rules that the Open Group has started. Here you see an example of their zero trust commandments, but I'm sure that we'll see more of that in future. Another and the last example for us in this video is about the mapping. The portfolio of Microsoft's products and services is big. It caters for elements around zero trust, PCI, SIS, NIST, CAF, WAF, and other patterns, and things are subject to change. And this can help to understand where a certain capability, product, service may fit in. So if it's a good fit for something or maybe not. So this slide from the MCRA brings back together elements that you may need to consider. Well, I hope you can benefit from this. So you know where to find these slides, right? Yes, it's the MCRA and you can go and download it. The last thing before we sum up the video and get to closure for this video is to understand that everything is connected. All the concepts and frameworks I discussed in this video and other ones is connected to the role of the cybersecurity architect. But a high priority needs to be given to modernizing the access controls. Any access should start with strong validation if access should be given. Who's asking? Why are they asking? And are they good enough to get access? It is elements like this that we see surface here from both the MCRA and MCSB. In another video, we will discuss identity and identity management, but let me give you a spoiler for that. Identity is the new perimeter. Identity is the foundation for securing and security. To sum up, in this video, we discussed the MCSB and MCRA. Both require further studies and reading, but you now have a good starting point. You know where to find them, and you have an idea on how to use them. So go and do. If you don't know where to find them, here's a reminder of the short links that will help you to get to them. Now, thank you for watching the video. There's many more videos in this series. Hope to meet you in another one. For now, goodbye and stay safe.